First Alert 6 starts now.
Well, we could certainly see some issues for the evening commute in the Aksarben area a day after a huge sinkhole opened at 67th and Pacific, swallowing those two vehicles on your screen. A stretch of Pacific Street remains closed. Today, Omaha's Public Works director spoke at a news conference, giving us an update on the investigation into what went wrong. Jacqueline Fernandez joins me live from the alert desk with the findings. Jacqueline.
Yes, Dave, by now you've likely seen that surveillance footage. We're going to show it to you again. It's just incredible video here. Bam, there they go. Those are the moments when part of the street gave way at 67th and Pacific. Two vehicles were stuck in the hole, but everyone inside was able to get out unharmed. Today, the dramatic incident is getting national attention, with the footage spreading on national news outlets and social media. Meantime, earlier this afternoon, city engineer Austin Rouser talked about what may have caused the sinkhole to form right below unsuspecting drivers. Rouser says there's evidence that a pressurized water source was scouring the soil for quite some time. A pressurized water source is something like a plumbing system or a water main, as opposed to a natural water source like a creek. Rouser said it's strange that such a large sinkhole could form without anyone noticing.
Our utility partners do a really good job of maintaining their infrastructure. We have a lot of instances where if we see a ground settlement start coming up, we make sure to investigate those relatively quickly. It's fairly unusual for anything to open up that manifests at the surface, because usually we have some indication beforehand of some settlement that occurs that gives us a good indication there might be a problem there for us to investigate.
Rouser described the sinkhole as an isolated incident and said people should not be worried about traveling throughout Omaha. Omaha police tell us the closure of Pacific Street will last several days at least. Fortunately, for those going northbound or southbound, 67th Street is still open. Dave.
All right, Jacqueline Fernandez getting us kick-started this Wednesday. Jacqueline, thank you. We are following breaking news out of Sarpy County right now. Emergency